What's going on, everybody? My name is John. Thanks for checking out the video. It's going to be a very short video today as I only have one card to share with you guys. And I'm going to flip over the camera here in just one moment. But I do want to take a minute just to preface this purchase and kind of talk through how this card is really kind of expanding my collection in a weird way. Oftentimes I find myself going to a card show or a card shop and you'll stumble across things every so often. Sometimes you might just turn a blind eye to them 9 times out of 10 times. But, every once in a while you see a card and you think, oh, that's interesting, right? Like I may want something like that for my collection, or you buy it, or you bid on it, or, and sometimes those purchases expand your collection. And that's kind of what is going to take place with this card. I believe in a weird way it expands my collection. Additionally, it's, I think, just the right time to kind of buy a card like this. And I'll talk a little bit about more about that here in just a minute when we take a look at the card. Now, I do want to share that I purchased this card at Golden auctions, and this is what I would consider like a tier 2 card. What I mean by tier 2 is when I go into an auction house, a virtual auction house like Golden or REA, I'm looking for kind of primary cards that I'd like to own. Those cards normally fit very well within my collection. And then I look for kind of tier 2 cards, right? Other things that would be interesting to add to my collection. And that's exactly what this was, right? This is a card that, had I not won other cards that fit more nicely in my collection, I probably wouldn't have bid on this card. Now, with Golden, you pre-bid just to get into extended hours. My early bid was not the final bid. I actually did win this card in extended hours. And again, I only bid on it in extended hours mainly because I had other cards that I'd also picked up that fit nicely in my collection, or another card that fits in my collection. That said, I'm just going to go ahead and flip around the camera. We'll talk about this a little bit more. But I am curious, do you guys ever find yourself buying things that don't fit in your collection at the time, and either they expand the way that you move throughout your hobby and your collection, or do you find yourself just randomly buying things that don't fit in your collection at all, and then they just kind of are stand out kind of one-offs in your collection at that point moving forward? Curious what you guys do, or if you guys have similar sorts of experiences. All right, let's go ahead and flip around the camera, and I'll share with you guys what I picked up. Okay, so we got one standout, one card. I've already mentioned that. But before I share the card with you guys, I just want to mention one thing really briefly. I just picked up a microphone, so hopefully you guys are going to notice better microphone improvement, better audio improvement on the channel. That's the goal. I know I watched a few of my videos back, and the audio wasn't where I would hope it would be. So I noticed when I watch quality channels that have done it for some time, the audio seems to be a little bit more on point, a little bit more crisp. Hopefully I can rectify some of my audio issues with, an improved microphone. So please, if you guys notice a difference, feel free to give me some feedback. All right, let's get to the card here. A reprint card. Now it's an autographed reprint card, but it's still a reprint card. And, normally that's something I wouldn't have a ton of interest in. That said, this autographed PSA DNA certified autograph, Jerry West. It's a reprint of the 1961 Fleer card. I believe that's his rookie card. I'm pretty confident that's his rookie card, off the top of my head at least. Now, this is a card I've seen before. Maybe not literally this specific card, but these reprint cards I have seen before. In fact, I've seen them in Beckett slabs and blue ink autographs. And recently I've started seeing more and more of these same reprint cards in the PSA DNA certified slabs with black ink. As I mentioned, a couple of things, right? Like, this was a secondary card during an auction. It's obviously a card that caught my eye, and I thought, you know what, that might not be a bad idea. That might not be a bad purchase. Won my other auction, my primary auction, and this became a secondary. Pretty happy to add it, though. The other thing that I think through is, I hearken back to an athlete like Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer may have been one of the greatest athlete signers of all time. For the better part of 50 years, he signed everything from golf balls to sports cards to photos to hats to jerseys to golf bags to almost anything and everything you put in front of him. Many of you probably didn't follow the Arnold Palmer marketplace, autograph marketplace, the way that I did. But, for most of eBay's existence, Arnold Palmer's autographs sold for fractions and fractions of what they sell for today. It's due to just the sheer volume of autographs that he had in the marketplace. Shortly after Arnold's passing, we've seen that marketplace dry up fairly quickly, specifically around the certified autographs. As you'd expect, certainly he's no longer signing at that point. Fans went to eBay and other places looking for those autographs, and the marketplace dried up pretty quick. I think through Jerry West and I think through some of the greats, we recently lost Bill Russell. Sorry, I just had a thought moment, a senior moment, as my dad would have said. But as you think of Bill Russell and any of those autographs that were in the marketplace, certainly over the last couple of years or months, last year, have doubled and tripled in price. And this isn't an investment card from a perspective. I'm not looking to make money off of it. This is a collection card. But at some point, right, Jerry's cards will follow a very similar path. And so I think right now is probably about the most prime time to buy Jerry West cards. Now, you might not be as into a reprint card. Normally, I would have also kind of turned a blind eye to it. But, it called out to me when I seen it. And I'm certainly happy to have added this to my collection. Now, I talked about expanding collections, and, for me, one of the things that I'm starting to focus a little bit more on, and so this will kind of fit into that same mold, is as I do vintage decades runs, and I am actively working on my Jerry West, vintage run through the 60s and 70s. I would like to add a memorabilia or a game used, specifically a game used. It must be denoted as game used by Jerry. So I would like to add a relic card if possible. And then with most athletes, adding an autograph is something that I'm going to start focusing a little bit more and more on, I believe. So I think that this will fill that kind of hole in that Jerry West collection that I'm slowly putting together, and I'm pretty happy to add this one to the collection overall. I'm curious, have you guys found yourself in similar spots where a card maybe you weren't targeting calls out to you and you end up buying it, and it ends up either opening up a new collection for you or a new aspect of your collection, or maybe it doesn't even necessarily fit in your collection, but it's just something that you felt like you absolutely wanted to add to your collection? It kind of fits both molds here for me. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. As always, if you guys like what we're doing and you guys want to join the adventure with us, feel free to hit that subscribe button and you guys can follow along. If you got any comments, feel free to leave them below. If you like what we're doing, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. We're going to go ahead and leave it there. We'll just chat with you guys later.